Today we're going to talk about Dawson's Creek Season 2, Episode 2. And Duck the Cat is here! Woo! He doesn't care. He does think that that pillow is real, though, so. This episode is called Crossroads, and sadly it does not feature Britney Spears. I don't care that the movie didn't come out until 2002. The cold open of this episode is like an infomercial playing on the TV, and then we pan over, and Dawson and Joey are making out hardcore on his bed, get caught by his parents. So then the beginning of the episode is, you know, Mitch and Gail kind of talking to both Dawson and Joey separately, like, you guys having sex? Like, what do you want to do? So we also get to see Pacey at his driver's test, which he's failed, and he reveals it's his birthday. As soon as he and Dawson run into each other, Dawson just wants to talk about Joey. He has no sympathy for Pacey. Pacey realizes that Dawson has forgotten his 16th birthday. So that's what the whole episode is about. There are some time jumps that I have a problem with. Very clearly a full day happens and then the next day happens, but then by the end of the episode we're still saying that it's his birthday, when obviously his birthday would have ended the day before. Okay. What happens with Gail and Mitch is they're trying to get Pacey and Joey to practice safe sex and talk about sex. Mitch says no hat, no glove, which he's trying to say no glove, no love, about wearing condoms. Then they have an intercut scene where Mitch is talking to his old friend and Gail is talking to Grams, and they're both like, well, you shouldn't have affairs, and then Mitch's friend is like, you should have an open marriage. So then Mitch proceeds with the idea of like, let's have an open marriage. And that's what he is pitching to Gail at the end of the episode. I just want to get those guys out of the way, because who cares about them? Also, Gail's bangs are basically their own character at this point. So there's 3 people in this relationship already. There's a scene with Grams and Jen where Jen just basically doesn't want to get out of bed, which, I mean, relatable. And then Jen and Pacey run into each other, like, sitting, looking over the water, and, like, he reveals that it's his birthday and everyone forgot about it. So Jen is like, you should throw yourself a blowout party. Then Jen is at gym class, like, doing cleanup duty, and Abby is back, who we haven't seen in a little while. And Abby is telling her how she did this wrong and she needs to get out of gym, like, for the semester, like Abby did. And then Jen starts bragging about stuff that she did in New York, and Abby is, like, enthralled. So then we see them hanging out together later, and Jen is, like, showing her photos that she had printed of, like, guys that she's hooked up with in New York. And then Abby reveals that she's brought a bottle of champagne, and she thinks that they should go to Pacey's party. So they end up doing that, and they're pretty drunk, and it's not great. And basically what happens with them is that Jen is like, yo, I still want to hook up with Dawson. And Abby was like, really? And she's like, yeah. And then Abby's like, all right, we're going to get him for you. I do like Abby. Like, she's got a lot of problems, but, like, she definitely, like, she's, like, a friend to Jen mostly. Like, she's actually, like, nice to her. I don't know. So there's 2 main things going on in this episode, which is basically just about Pacey's birthday. So one thing is, first, Dawson and Joey are hanging out. She says that she wants to write down Mitch's no hat, no glove comment in her diary, pulls out a diary that appears to have a picture of Mona Lisa on it, and goes to write it down, but then is taken away. Dawson reads her diary. Reading someone's diary is never okay. Just don't do it. So Dawson hurriedly leaves, and then he's, like, trying to tell Pacey about it, and Pacey's like, I don't care, because, again, like, Dawson doesn't remember that he forgot Pacey's birthday. So Dawson doesn't even notice that Pacey is, like, putting up flyers for his peer party for his birthday. So, like, Dawson is just, like, blinders on, like, I gotta talk to you about Joey, and Pacey's, like, kind of like, fuck off, dude, you know, kind of thing. And then we see that Joey gets to meet Andy Andy says that her brother Jack, who we still haven't met yet, but will, needs a job, and could he work at the Ice House at Joey's restaurant that she works at, that her sister owns. So we're going to get to see that happen. I basically hate Dawson so much in this episode because all he's doing is, like, being an idiot. Like, he's a bad friend to Pacey. He read Joey's diary and then is mad at her about what it said. Like, it's just, like, garbage behavior, like, that no one should stand by. And then we see a scene where literally, like, Joey is at work and Dawson has come there to harass her and berate her about what she said about him in her diary. So he's just kind of like, well, I can't believe that he's like, I can't believe that you said this. Like, this is crazy, like, blah, blah, blah. And, like, she's like, you shouldn't have read that. Like, this is insane. But Jack comes in and she, like, sets him up, like, working in the back and all's good. Meanwhile, like, Pacey is kind of, like talking with Andy throughout. Andy figures out, like, what's been going on, wants to go to the party, and kind of goes. When they're at the party, like, Pacey's like, I don't know anyone here, and Andy doesn't want to go talk to anyone else, and so they're just kind of hanging out. And the party is just kind of like a bunch of boats around the dock, and, like, kids are just, like, standing in them in bathing suits, which sounds fun, but it's sort of, like, opens up a lot of questions for me about, like, whose boats are these? Like, what's going on? The other indication we get that 2 days have gone by, even though it's still Pacey's birthday, is that when Dawson's talking to Pacey about the diary, he says, I read something in Joey's diary last night. So obviously 2 days have gone by. I don't know why we're pretending like it's all one day, but it's okay. One great thing that happens is we get to set up Jack and Joey's relationship. So after the fight has happened, they have this moment at the Ice House where Jack's just kind of like, is this your first fight? And, like, Joey explains that, like, they have been best friends. This is their, like, first boyfriend-girlfriend fight. And Jack, just like Bessie did last episode, gives some wisdom to Joey of, like, oh, well, you've never had makeup before. He doesn't say makeup sex, but it's like, you've never made up with a significant other before. And so kind of implying that that will be, like, fun. And then him saying that is all Joey needs to just kind of, like, she leaves the restaurant, like, gets prettied up and, like, goes and meets Dawson. And there's literally a scene where there's no dialogue. They're both in the rain, like, coming towards each other. And they just kind of, like, kiss and hug and, like stand in the rain, like, in love. It's beautiful. It really is bizarre when Abby and Jen are just kind of walking around swigging from a bottle of champagne. Because, like, all the other teens are drinking out of, like, solo cups where, like, you don't know what's in there, but, like, they just have a bottle of champagne. Joey and Dawson are sitting on, like, a fish crate. Like, one of those, like, crates where, like, you catch fish, like, you throw it in the water and then, like, you catch fish in it. So they're sitting on that having this, like, thing. He explains to Joey that, like, he forgot Pacey's birthday and she's like, oh, shit, kind of thing. And then Abby and Jen are literally, like, looking down on them from over there. And that's when Abby and Jen have the conversation where, like, Jen's like, I still want to be with him. And Abby's like, fine, we're going to get him back for you. And then basically Dawson is like, oh, and at the same time, Pacey and Andy are still talking. And Andy's like, here's this present for you. And he's kind of like, how did you figure out it was my birthday? But I don't know. It seems obvious to me. She gives him a magic 8-ball and they, like, have a little moment until they drop it in the water. Dawson basically tells Joey, like, yo, can you find your own way home? Like, I need to talk to Pacey. And then we see Pacey, and Pacey is wearing just a trash bag over his clothes, a la Silver Linings Playbook, which just is funny to me. Again, this is 1998. And they just have a cute moment. Like, Pacey and Dawson just have, like, a cute time, and they're cleaning up and, riding off in the boat, like, talking about stealing the car and taking a road trip to Maine. But it's really fun. There's not, like, a ton going on in this episode. And I mostly am mad at Dawson the entire time, but, like, the end, he, like, sort of makes up for it. And I just love Pacey, so. Talk to me about Dawson's Creek. What did you think about this episode? I really do want to hear it. I'm just talking to myself, so, like, please talk back to me. And I'll see you for episode 3. Bye.